We have Coach Pearl with us. We'll remind you when you have a question, just let us know. We'll get a microphone in your direction. And let's open it up to questions for Coach Pearl.
Coach, at this point of the game, does experience matter? I mean, you're playing a Kansas team with 4 freshmen in the starting lineup and a guy transferred from Memphis. That was their NCAA debuts on Thursday. Does that matter?
Yeah, I would think experience does matter. On older players, sort of been there and done that. I think sometimes, for us, we were in a situation a year ago where we were not able to even compete with Clemson. In the round of 32, we were down to 7 healthy players, and our roster is a little deeper right now, so we've sort of been there. We weren't able to take advantage of that, and now we're here against, maybe the most storied program in the history of college basketball with another opportunity. So the experience, I guess, of failing, then with the opportunity now to get another shot at it, is probably the thing that jumps out at me as far as the experience is concerned. There are no freshmen anymore. They've all been through it before, and Kansas still has several pros, a former McDonald's All-American, and a Hall of Fame basketball coach. So we've got our hands full.
Coach, you're obviously coming off a very emotional, intense victory, whereas Kansas won quite easily. Other than the fact that they could rest some guys at the end of the game, do you see any other advantages or disadvantages as far as the emotional state of the game?
I thought I was pleased with our team after the game because we weren't very happy. We were accountable for the fact that we had a meltdown, and we did not play very well defensively or keep New Mexico State off the boards. New Mexico State's inside guys really had their way with us, and Kansas's inside guys are bigger and better. So we have our hands full, from that standpoint. But I think the only other disadvantage was we were really tired yesterday. 5 games in 8 days is a lot, plus the travel. So even though this will be 6 games in 10 days, I really feel like having played early Thursday and now with a later start Saturday, we'll be fine. We will be fresher than we were on Thursday.
Coach, in through your guys' run in the SEC tournament and playing against teams like Kentucky and Tennessee, and now on this 8-9 game win streak, how have you seen your players' confidence grow over this winning streak?
The thing that jumps out to me is the fact that over the last couple of years, if Jared Harper and Bryce Brown played well, we had a real good chance to win. And if they didn't, we had no chance to win. And that's not been the case here in March. We've had great play from our bench. We've had lots of different guys step up. And so from a confidence standpoint, I think it's been really, really good that those guys don't have to carry us, that somebody else is capable. And so therefore, I think the kids are trusting the process and they're beginning to rely on themselves and each other more.
Coach, what do you do better or differently than other schools to make you the best turnover team in the country and create steals?
Again, what jumps out to me is the rules are constantly changing and adjusting. I'm a Tom Davis disciple, 94 feet, full court pressure. But because of some of the different rules, trapping has virtually disappeared from our game. And so therefore, our full court pressure defense has really had to change. You can't be as aggressive because you're going to get called for fouls. So we've had to find a way to turn people over in the half court. Simply put, we try to take a look at what you like to do and take away what you like to do and make you do something else. So how can we stop Kansas's inside game? How can we stop Lawson with his inside-outside game? How can we stop those guys from driving down the lane? If we can figure out a way to do that and turn them over some in the process, we got a fighting chance to win the game.
Coach, your voice is in a little better shape today than it was yesterday. I'm wondering, what are the challenges when you do lose your voice down the stretch, especially in a game like yesterday when you're trying to get play calls in or yell at guys to do certain things and maybe you just can't get there? And a part two is how do you get that thing to recover 24 hours before the next game?
Okay, could you repeat that real quick?
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Your voice is in better shape than it was yesterday, and I'm wondering when in a tight game like that was the case yesterday. I'm wondering how do you get signals into guys when you can't scream, and part two, how do you get your vocal cords rested so you don't make it worse, so it's not more shot for the rest of the tournament?
Yeah. We have hand signals on how we call plays. I could call anything verbally. I can also call it with hand signals and communicate with my point guard that way. Late in the game, I had one timeout left, and I did not want to use the timeout in case we were in an inbound situation where the inbound passer needed it. I'll be honest with you, my coaches were asking me to call timeout and burn my last one. Whether I should or shouldn't have, I don't know. But I instructed our guys up 3 or up 4 what to do in that situation. Now, could they then take that instruction, get it to the other players, and execute it? Remains to be seen whether or not we were able to get that done or not, because obviously we fouled a three-point shooter when we weren't supposed to. So there's a fine line in there. You can go through those situations all you want in practice, but until you're out there in that pressure situation, it's why you guys do understand that players are going to do what they do, and they're going to make plays, both good and bad, and so that can sometimes win you games. It can cost you games.
Coach, right here, you mentioned your guys being upset about the way that game finished yesterday. They say, every run has a game like that, one you got to survive, one that you got to win ugly. Do you spin it that way after? Do you move on as quick as you can? What was the immediate aftermath of that with your guys?
Well, the immediate aftermath was the guys were really down because whether they missed a free throw or turned the ball over or made some bad plays and bad decisions, we still won, and we're still alive, and we still advanced. So what can we learn from it? My big thing is, listen, and I tell parents this all the time, when Johnny strikes out and cries, or sometimes he throws his bat, I'd rather teach him how to care a little less than actually to teach him to care and not sure whether or not that was strike 3 or not. Did I win? Did we win? I want him to keep score. I want him to know. I think the fact that our guys were down tells you they wanted it so badly. Now, sometimes wanting it really badly can get in the way. We've been in a lot of close game situations because we play in the SEC. I had told my team that one of the advantages that we had over in Mexico State is they haven't been in very many close games because they've dominated the WAC. It's going to be a close game. I mean, I knew it was going to be a close game because I knew they were that good, and I knew we weren't that much better than they were. We made 5 out of our last 6 free throws. That's how you close out games. We still did some good things at the end.
Hey, Coach, how important has Chuma been to what you all do defensively, just as far as creating turnovers, and how unique is it to have a big guy leading your team in steals?
Yeah, for those of you that I know you all love the game, watch Chuma. Just watch him, because I know the pro scouts are. He is always in the right place at the right time. He is a great defender. Great hands, great instincts, covers up a lot of our misses and mistakes, and he's got a great future. And so he gives us terrific versatility. The matchup of he and Lawson will be a good matchup when Lawson's playing the 4, but Lawson will also play a lot of 5, mostly 5. And when he does, I don't know that I can get Chuma on that matchup as often. So he's been a great guy to coach because he gives us great versatility defensively, and then offensively, he can score inside and out. And so he's really a guy that we try to play call for, and he's been a big difference maker for us this year.
We have time for 2 more. We'll start right here.
Bruce, I'm sure there's a lot of gamesmanship at the free throw line that we can't quite see or hear, but I'm curious how you felt about Vaughn doing the choke sign yesterday, and if that's in bounds on these things.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that until about 10 minutes ago, so I apologize. And I actually talked to Vaughn about it kind of immediately. Maybe it was 20 minutes ago because I just talked to him about it. I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it. But it's certainly not something that you want, or certainly not anything you promote. And for me, what I would love with your cooperation, Vaughn McCormick great kid, great family. Played in a smaller JUCO. His best offers were Florida International and Florida Atlantic. When we lost Davion Mitchell to transfer in the spring, I had a scholarship for a player on a team that had a chance to go to the NCAA tournament, and I couldn't give it away because I had Jared Harper and Bryce Brown. And nobody wanted to come to Auburn because everybody recruited wants to start. They all want minutes. And I recruit guys straight up. So this is most likely going to be a backup position. You can challenge those guys. To his credit, he said, I'm going to come in and push him. If I come off the bench, I come off the bench. Coach, you play me any way you want to play. He's a great kid. And here's the deal. We haven't lost in March. And one of the major reasons is because of Vaughn. His ability to come off the bench, his quickness, to accept the role that he had, not complain about it. He hasn't started a game, hasn't even come close to starting. So the story for me with Vaughn is, hey, Jay, I haven't seen this yet. But unfortunately, you've given the world an opportunity to focus on that, which I wish they wouldn't, but sometimes you have responsibility. So, we're dealing with it. And all it is, you look at it as a lesson, not only for him, but for the next guy. That's not at all his character, and that's not at all ours. So,
Last question.
Hey, Coach, you were talking about your coaching philosophy and things, and I don't know if you saw this, but Tom Izzo is a lightning rod today because he went out and yelled at a guy pretty harshly. What's your take on coaching players in games when they mess up?
Yeah, it's a good question. The great Pat Dye at Auburn said, you can coach them as hard as you love them. There's nobody that can yell at your kids like you can. Nobody. You wouldn't let anybody else yell at your kids like you if you feel like you need to in a particular moment. Why? Because you love them. They love you and they respect you. And so that's number one. Number two, sometimes kids are afraid to fail. Sometimes they're scared for the moment, and why not? The moment's huge. I'd rather have them scared of me and what I might say to them or how I might bite their head off versus being afraid to fail and not execute something. So I don't know what all the hubbub is about. I haven't seen him yell, but I've seen it before. And so my guess is it's a huge overreaction. Kids still want discipline. Kids still want to be coached. They want tough love. And I want my son playing for a guy that knows his role. That's your head coach. And by the way, I tell my guys, half the time I'm yelling at you, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. But I'm going to do my job to the very best of my ability. You do your job to the best of your ability.
All right. Thank you, Coach.